see a couple of you are hopping on. I'm just checking in to say hey to everybody on Christmas Eve. Several people have been asking me to go live, and I've got about 30 minutes or so, so I thought I would hop on with no agenda whatsoever and just give you guys an opportunity to chat or ask questions or share any recent successes or failures, or just talk about whatever you want to talk about. Hey, Brandy. Is everybody having a good Christmas Eve so far? So a lot of people have been asking me questions here lately about synchronicity. And so if you've never seen me before, I am a Chopra certified instructor. I specialize in all things spirituality, manifestation, and the spiritual laws and all that good stuff. And so I have no agenda at all, period. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those if I can. I hope I can. Hello, everybody. Several people popping on. Hey, Amber. Turn my volume up a little bit. Hey there. Amber, did you cook Christmas dinner today, or are you cooking tomorrow? Are you cooking at all? Hey there, Steel Magnolia from North Carolina. Cool. Brandy, I always see angel numbers on license plates. Well, it doesn't matter where you see them as long as you're seeing them. Which ones are you seeing? Oh, so Amber, you are cooking tomorrow? I am not. Tomorrow's my birthday, and I actually get my birthday off this year. I'm excited about that. Christmas Day birthday is the worst birthday of the year. It sucks. Florida Beach, I see 111345 If you know what those mean, I won't go into all of that, but if you don't, I can talk about it. So Brandy, you got the 2 and the 5 and the 7 and the 8, which, oh, thank you, Amber. Which, I mean, seeing those at any time is great. And the thing about seeing those angel numbers is, like, if you look up the meanings online, you'll find a lot of like generic information, and some of it's accurate and some of it isn't. Now, in numerology, numbers actually have meaning, and so numbers mean certain things. But when the angel numbers start popping up, they're usually they're popping up for different reasons, because we all have different things going on in our lives. But across the board, okay, that 2 sequence, and keep in mind that the information I pass on to you is a combination of qualitative and quantitative research. And so some of it comes from numerology, some of it comes from Doreen Virtue, just secondary sources that I found in the past. But then I have conducted a lot of primary research too, just my personal experiences, and then documenting what other people have told me over the years. And so what I found about that too, it usually signifies some kind of a new beginning, and that can be so many different things. But I have a lot of people that report seeing that 2 sequence, like before they get engaged or they meet somebody new. It's all about a new beginning, and we meet new people all the time. Hey there, Not Galore from Chicago. So we meet people all the time, but they don't always play a significant role. So let's just say that 2 is popping up, and you happen to meet somebody new, or maybe you've met somebody new, it could be referring to that. And so it's usually a new beginning. And then the 5, I have found that is often career related. It's often related to a job or career, which by my definition are two totally different things. And then and usually the 5 pops up when there's a door that needs to close before the right one needs to open. And so I don't know if that makes any sense to you at all, or it resonates with you at all. If it doesn't, tell me. I might be able to elaborate a little bit more. But then the 7 sequence, so that's just really like your lucky number all the way around. Although I don't believe in luck. I mean, I think that we create our own circumstances at all times. I think that luck is like the outcome of a chain of great decision making. Okay, so with that being said, but when that 7 shows up, usually you have made a lot of right moves, and there's some type of a reward coming, whether that is tangible or non-tangible. Okay, and then the 8 number, well, that's your abundance number. The 8 number is supposed to signify that money's coming in, or some abundance is coming in. So let's see, what did I just cover? I did the 2, the 5, the 7, and the 8. Jade, I absolutely love your teachings all the way here in England. Oh, that is so cool. Thank you so much. My book is actually going to launch in January, and the title of it is Thought Snob. And I have learned that I have a decent following in England, and so I certainly want to keep in touch with all of you all over the next month or so, as I've got all these cool things launching. The book and the audio book. I started recording the audio book a couple of days ago, and that was so awesome. I really enjoyed doing that. And then I've got my podcast that's going to be starting in March as well. Oh man, I missed 2. Well, I'll do a little recap, because 2 is a really popular one. And so, and just know that the 2 might show up, for you for one reason, and then for me another reason, and for it's all for different reasons, but across the board, that 2 sequence usually signifies a new beginning. I mean, those are consistent findings. That, on my end, that I have discovered over my 15 years or so of documenting evidence about number sequences. It's all about a new beginning, and that could be anything. It could be anything. A lot of people report seeing the 2 sequence before they get engaged. That's a big one. Before, closing on a house or moving. I mean, 2 usually signifies something, a significant new beginning that's like life-changing. Okay, Dawn, you so inspire me. Thank you. Oh, thank you. You inspire me just by being here. I appreciate it so much. Hey, yay, I've been seeing it since I got an interview scheduled for a great job. And I mentioned that earlier. That 2 sequence, I just said this a few minutes ago, can show up before you're about to get a new job. Any new opportunity, and it usually shows up when it's going to lead to a good event, like a good life-changing event. It's not probably not going to show up if you're going into a new job that's not meant for you, or that you're not going to like. And so if that 2 sequence is showing up and you've got a new job in mind, hey, it must be a good thing. So that's a great sign. And then let's see. I see 111. Yeah. The 1 sequence. I really do think that 1 shows up for pretty much all of us for, I'm gonna say, 2 or 3 reasons, and that's our manifestation number. And so the 1 shows up to say, hey, your thoughts are on the right track, or watch your thoughts, because we're always manifesting, and that's what a lot of people don't understand, and that's what I used to not understand. Even if we don't know anything about manifestation, we're always manifesting, because energy matches with like energy. It's an involuntary process. Even if we're not aware of it, if we think we're not playing the game, we are. We're always manifesting. And so if you are aligned and you're seeing number sequences, that one shows up to say, hey, watch your thoughts, because they're manifesting rapidly. I mean, some days, if I'm in a really bad mood and I just, my thoughts are just, I'm just being an a-hole, or my thoughts are just, not in a good place. And yes, it happens to me too, not that frequently, but it does. Sometimes I'll see that one sequence and it'll put me in check, because I'll be like, oh God, I gotta interrupt these. I gotta interrupt this bad mood. I gotta interrupt these negative thoughts somehow, because I just got a reminder. I gotta watch my thoughts, because they're always manifesting. So that one always shows. I mean, anytime you see it, it's a good thing. But the key to deciphering the meaning of the number sequences is to be very mindfully aware of how you're feeling, what you're thinking about in that moment when those sequences show up. I mean, I know if you're driving down the road and you look over and you see 555 on a license plate, it's not like you can, go and jot it down. Of course you can't. But if you can just in that moment be mindfully aware of how you feel and what you're thinking about it, and then maybe jot it down when you get home before the thought, before you forget. You can go back and you'll see, patterns in your notes about what you're thinking about, and then keep track of what happens, in the days following. I'm very new to this. How do you find number sequences? Well, is that Lisa? Yeah, well, you don't find them. If you go looking for them, then you've kind of taken the innocence out of the whole process of synchronicity. And so synchronicity happens as part of the manifestation process. It's communication from the divine, and it's real, and it's tangible evidence that what you want is indeed coming your way. But synchronicity can happen, before a big manifestation shows up. And synchronicity comes in the form of various forms, but number sequence is a really popular one. And so you don't go looking for them, you don't go find them, they find you. And it will sometimes knock you off your feet. And the way it happens is you'll just notice that maybe every time you look at the clock, it's 3:33. Or you may wake up in the middle of the night and look at your phone and it's 4:44. Or, that's how it happens. You start seeing them on license plates or on the or on TV, But if it just happens like one time, probably doesn't mean anything. But if you see number sequences more than once per day for, a few days in a row, something's brewing. Something's going on. And you definitely want to explore that and figure it out. And usually, you've got some type of an intuitive sense of what's going on. So I hope that helps if you're a newbie to all of this. Thank you, Valerie. I'm glad that I'm live too. I wasn't expecting to be able to go live today, but we had a Christmas Eve brunch and my family left like a whole lot earlier than I anticipated. So I thought, you know what? I think I'll try and connect with my peeps for a bit. Okay. I have thought of a question before, and a video of yours answers that question. Well, is that Raphael? Yeah. That is textbook synchronicity. Textbook. And my mentor, Dr. Wayne Dyer, who I'm sure, if you're following me, a lot of you all are familiar with who Wayne Dyer was. He passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, but he always said, when you are ready for a spiritual transformation, a teacher will show up. And, I firmly believe that the divine communicates through all of us and for different reasons. And so a lot of times I feel compelled to talk about a topic that I haven't even been thinking about. And so I think it's like those moments when I just act on that instinct and that, take that inspired action. I think that a lot of times that I'm I don't know, maybe answering questions for people that I don't even, realize what I'm doing, if that makes any sense. So, well, Carolyn, I certainly hope that. I know when I was ready for my spiritual transformation, several people showed up very unexpectedly, and a lot of unexpected people too that ended up being spiritual teachers and spiritual mentors that I would have never thought in a million years. Like Jim Carrey has been one of those people for me. And I was just drawn, to him for whatever reason and acted on that. So it's that spontaneous feeling and that inspired action that really connects us to those people that have messages for us. So I don't want to miss anybody's questions. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Jen. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll be 47 years old tomorrow. I cannot believe that. So the fact that you're telling me that is just absolutely wonderful. It takes a lot to keep it going when you get, I don't know, past 40, even leading up to 40, it starts to be really challenging. But I'm going to continue to work at it. Oh, Jen, you're 45. Okay, so we're close. We're close. Thank you, Jade. Thank you. That must mean that the Botox and the Wrestling Lift and the Juvederm and the laser treatments and the infrared sauna and the exercise and all of that must be doing something. Thank you. Carolyn, you're 57. Have you enjoyed your 50s? Have your 50s been good? I'll tell you, I hated my 20s. Oh my God, I wouldn't go back to being in my 20s for nothing. Or being a teenager. Oh my God. I'm in better shape right now than I was 20 years ago. Be 56 in a week. Thank you, Jade. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So have you all, I'm really curious, have you enjoyed your 50s? Because the older that we get, it's like we I think focus more on the stuff that really matters and really just stop giving a shit about the stuff that doesn't. It's like I'm nowhere near as wrapped up in what other people think as I was, say, 20 years ago, and I was pretty much really controlled by that 20 years ago. I mean, a lot of my decisions were really rooted in, well, what will they think if I do X, Y, and Z? And I don't think like that anymore. That doesn't get us anywhere. Oh, thank you, Amber. Amber's out there rallying the troops for me. I appreciate that. Okay. Besides the divorce, my 50s have been pretty good. Okay. I feel like I'm trying to find myself. I feel like I'm starting another chapter. Carolyn, someone asked me the other day, they said, and you'll probably giggle at this. They said, I've just turned 30, and I feel like I'm too late. I feel like I'm too late to make any kind of changes or start a spiritual transformation or whatever. And I thought, oh my God, that's nowhere near being too late. It's never too late. What I always tell people is it doesn't matter how old you are, because age is what you make of it anyway. The only time it's too late is if you're there on your deathbed and you're lying there and you've got a bunch of regrets about what you wish you would have done. That's the only time it's too late. So I think the fact that you're trying to find yourself, whatever that means to you at your age, is perfect. It's perfect. Stay in shape and healthy, because the day after 60th birthday is downhill fast. Oh my God, it's hard enough now, Dreaming Jeannie. I'll be 47 tomorrow. Christmas Day. Jack, still married to a job then. Oh yeah, that's a topic that I talk about all the time. Oh my gosh, I'm so against people working in jobs that they don't like. Oh, that is a manifestation killer. So Amber, my plans for tomorrow. So I getting my birthday off this year, which my husband makes sure that happens every 3 years or so. And so I'm not really doing anything. I'm going to sleep late and I'm going to exercise, and then we've got dinner reservations at a restaurant called Morton's downtown Louisville, and it's a really nice place. And so I'm going to get all gussied up. I'm gonna get way overdressed and have a couple of dirty vodka martinis with blue cheese stuffed olives, and that's what I'm doing tomorrow. And that's kind of like my perfect day. I think age does bring some fear with it, but that's why I'm focusing on my spiritual journey. Oh, it absolutely does. It does. It does. There's a lot of fear that can come with that, and it's because of what we have been really socialized and brainwashed to believe about getting older. You know, we associate that with sickness usually, and it's really not how it has to be. I mean, as I've been studying with Deepak Chopra, who is not, I don't think, totally human. I mean, he is truly an inspiration. Like, he released his medical records, and you know, Deepak is 82 maybe, I'm not exactly sure, but he released his medical records a year or so ago, and his physiology is that of a 35-year-old. And so we, you know, getting old does not have to be this dreaded thing. It's what we make of it. I truly believe that, and I am bound and determined to reverse the aging process. That's why I meditate twice a day. So, does anybody have any specific questions that you'd like to ask? I've got I think maybe 3:30 or so. I can stay on. Brandy, what was his name? Are you asking about Deepak Chopra, the person I was just talking about? Deepak Chopra, is that who you're talking about? Yes, and the desire to find my purpose at my age is worrisome. Yeah, Brandy, I was talking about Deepak Chopra. And if you happen to not know who he is, you can easily find him online. He is probably, I'm going to say, the most famous spiritual person out there today. And Deepak has been around for a very long time, and he specializes in Ayurveda. He's from India, and I have adopted a lot of those practices, and it has been life-changing. Going into his program, I wasn't expecting a lot of personal benefit. I was expecting just, you know, professional, because I'm working on all these certifications. But the personal benefit has outweighed the professional. The incorporating the Ayurveda practices has really been something else, and all those practices reverse aging. And so I highly recommend looking up Deepak, and I have a lot of information about that on my website too, at paulaswope.com. Yes, Amber, I am. Both of my, Amber's asking, are you still doing deals on your challenges? And what she's referring to is I have two, I call them manifestation challenges, but they're really overall just self-help, self-growth, empowerment challenges that all the exercises work to elevate your energy and get rid of, dump all that trash out in your subconscious mind that really those beliefs are what hold you back and keep you from manifesting what you want. And so the challenges go way deeper than just manifestation. It's like one big self-help extravaganza, but there's two of them. There's a 30-day manifestation challenge, and then there's a 7-day thought snob challenge that's named after my book that's coming out in January. And both of those challenges are available right now for $5, $5. And with that $5, I mean, I don't really know where you could get any higher quality self-help resources anywhere. And so if you are interested in checking it out, the links to join are in my link tree, and you can learn all about the challenges on my website if you want to read up on those and see if they're right for you. And with that $5, you get lifetime access to a private Facebook group, and that's a really special place to be. You don't have to have Facebook to do the challenges, but that is a built-in support system. And our alumni stay in that group for life and act as manifestation buddies and mentors, and you never know who you might meet. There's people from all over the world in there, so check it out. Amber, thank you for bringing that up. Hey, Amy. Amy's one of the people in our group. Amber and Amy are in there. So does anyone have any specific questions? Until someone else asks a question, I will talk about, do you have skincare videos on your page? I have a couple. On there, yeah. And I think most of them are under my playlist that's labeled IPL. IPL stands for Intense Pulse Light, because I use this little instrument that is like a miracle worker, and I agreed to promote it on TikTok because it works so freaking good. And so my skincare videos are in that all in that playlist, I'm pretty sure. IPL is the title of it. Amy, these programs have been life-changing for me. I recommend them. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. I am proud of those challenges. What is the best way to get started with manifestation? I've never done it before. Oh my God. And then the next one, any tips on making a vision board for next year? Okay, I'll answer that in just a second, Queen of the Ocean, but back to how to get started on manifestation. So we're always manifesting. You've been manifesting since you came out of the womb. Okay? It's something that we do naturally. And if anyone ever doubts that, if you just take a look at the differences in people's lives, like, we really are, I mean, it's not like God blesses one person more than another. And so we've got a lot of, God gave us free will. And so that means we are infinite decision makers. And that ties into what we manifest. And so our energy matches to like energy. And that is an involuntary process that's going on all the time, okay? Energy matches like energy. And so in the simplest way possible, how to get started with manifestation, you need to start living on purpose, which means not living by chance, which means that everything you think, say, do, and feel is deliberate, because you know that everything you think, say, do, and feel is going to match to a like energy. And therefore, it is going to be created and appear in physical form at some point in time. And so a really great way to get started is to start being really mindfully aware of how you feel and what you're thinking about and what you say. A great way to get started is to start being really mindfully aware of how you feel and what you're thinking about and what you say at all times, because the universe can't distinguish between what's good and bad. The universe just gives us what it thinks we want. And so if we're walking around all the time talking about how bad we feel or how broke we are, then that energy is going to match to scarcity and sickness. But if we refuse to speak that way, and we're talking about how great we feel, or we know we've got abundance coming, or we focus on speaking like that and thinking like that, then eventually that energy that we're putting out there is going to catch up, and it's going to match on to the good stuff instead of the bad stuff. And so usually people manifest what they don't want when they don't realize what they're doing. And I spent the first 3 decades of my life living like that. And looking back on it, as bad of an attitude that I had, I mean, my life was bad enough, but it's really surprising to me that something irreversible didn't happen during that time. And when I started educating myself about how the world really works, and I realized that I was the one that was creating all of that chaos and all of that hostility and all those horrible freaking people, then I became way more mindful, and I didn't allow any old thought to infiltrate my mind, and I didn't focus on the bad stuff. I started focusing on the good stuff. And eventually my entire life changed. So I hope that helps. If not, drop a comment and I can elaborate on that some more. And then someone, I think Queen of the Ocean, asked about vision boards. You can do a vision board any way you want to do it. What I think some best practices, you can use images and words, but think, I don't know, 3 to 5 years into the future as you make that board, and whatever feels natural to you, then you can create it. And so you want to make sure that whatever you choose to put on that vision board doesn't seem too outlandish. You want to, keep it, somewhat realistic. Like, let's just say, what's a good example? I'll use something tangible. Let's say you want a Cartier watch. And that Cartier watch is $25,000. And you do not have enough money to buy a $25,000 Cartier watch, but you really want that watch. And so if you really want it, then you're meant to have it. That's why we want things. I don't know if you guys are fully aware of that or not, you know about that, but the reason that you want stuff is because you're meant to have it. And it's just, if you want it, that's why you want it. So if you're doing a vision board, and even if you can't afford that watch, but it does feel like it is something attainable for you, then put it on there. Go on and put the picture of that watch on your vision board, and then just say, okay, it's coming at some point. I'm not worried about how, I'm not worried about when, I just know I'm going to have that watch, okay? But when you think about that watch, if you're just like, I know I'll never have that watch, and you cannot even fathom, the notion of having something that extravagant, then don't put it on your vision board until it feels a little bit more natural to you, okay? I hope that makes sense. But you can put anything you want on that vision board, but I always, start with what feels realistic and or attainable, feels natural, and something you can obtain. Stick to those things on your vision board, and put that vision board in a spot that is highly visible, that you see every single day. And every single day, you don't talk about how much you want those things, ever. Don't ever say that. Just thank the universe for having those things. As you walk past your vision board, just casually glance at it and be like, oh, I'm so grateful for all these things I've attracted. Leave it at that. Leave it at that. And of course, your wants and wishes change as the years go by. And so as my stuff manifests on my vision board, then I just check it off, check it off, check it off. And that's the coolest thing in the world. that's like documenting the evidence right there. And that keeps you motivated and inspired, even on those days when you don't feel like you're, creating anything. And so that's how I do mine. And you can always add to it as you go. It doesn't have to be professional or look a certain way. It's pretty easy, and it's a lot of fun too, because when you're just focusing on what you want, that's never a bad thing, and that's another perk of doing those vision boards. So I try to manifest something by a certain date. Does that hurt my process? Actually, it does, Alana. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name the right way. It actually does, because it's like if you put a timeline on something and you're constantly watching the clock or watching the calendar of when it's going to show up, then you're asking those questions, when, how, that create doubt. And so I never ever give myself a deadline or a timeline on manifestations at all, period. And the only way, like if someone's, I see all these people on social media saying manifest this in 24 hours or whatever, that is absolute bullshit. I'm telling you right now, it is absolute bullshit. The only way that you can speed up the manifestation process is if you master control of your emotions. Therefore, you master your energy, and you're able to keep your energy elevated and matched to those, emotions that attract in the good stuff, like enthusiasm and love. And it's like this, no doubt whatsoever. I mean, that's the only way that you can speed up a manifestation. And so I always discourage people from putting a timeline on their manifestations, because it creates doubt, and it creates frustration, because you get frustrated when something's not showing up, and that blocks you quicker than anything. That those feelings of being irritable. When we do experience doubt, how do we correct? That's a great question. The best way, and you're never going to completely banish doubt. What you want to conquer here is allowing it to take you over. If you just feel doubtful for a split second, don't worry about it. But if it carries on all day, into the next day, that's when you are in a danger zone, because you're blocking. You're blocking what you're wanting to manifest. The best way to banish doubt is through meditation. I mean, meditation. I would have never been able to attract what I wanted, create the life I have right now, if it wasn't for meditation. No way, no how. I had so much garbage in my subconscious that, I was in our subconscious behaviors, subconscious beliefs, control like 90% of our behaviors. And so you've got to make sure that what you believe about yourself is empowering and not disempowering. And all of my beliefs were disempowering. And so I had to reverse those. And that took a lot of time, and I wouldn't have been able to have done it without the meditation. And so that's the absolute best possible advice that I could give you about banishing that doubt, or keeping it to a minimum. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. I'm just as grateful for you. You guys are giving me an opportunity to do what I love to do. Does dressing classy and being high maintenance attract quality men? I'm going to have to say no. The only way to attract any quality person, and this is for intimate and platonic relationships, is you have to be what you want to attract. And if somebody is standing there carrying an Hermes handbag, wearing a Cartier watch, and a Louis Vuitton outfit, and their soul is dark, and they're a jealous person, and they are an ungrateful person, and they have cruel intentions and ulterior motives for people, then they're not going to be able to match to anybody that is a nice, kind, good intentioned person. And if you're standing there in clothes from the Dollar General store, carrying a bag that you got at the Salvation Army, with a ring on from a gumball machine, but you are kind and you want to help people, and you have empathy, and you love people, then you are going to attract a higher quality person quicker than the person standing there draped in diamonds that has a corruptive soul. And so if you want to attract a high quality person, then you have to be that. And it has to be genuine. because energy attracts like energy. So, Sheena, I speak positive updates and thoughts only most of the time, but sometimes I need to share. Thank you. I appreciate your advice. Very, very wise. You're welcome. I appreciate you too. Well, of course you can, Star. You can have money, designer purses, watches, etc., and still have empathy. I am that person. Absolutely. You know, I was just saying that as an example. I mean, if you follow me at all, I mean, you know that I'm the person that introduced a new definition of high maintenance women to social media. I mean, I love the fact that I want to take care of myself, and I mean, I like the good stuff. But just because I love the good stuff, talking about, you know, the material things, that doesn't mean that I don't have empathy. My whole world is operated through empathy. I mean, that's how you forgive people. That's how you accept people for being different. Really, that's it. Did you feel compelled to go live today? Interesting how this is what a lot of us needed to hear. I did, Lisa. I did, and it's very strange how my day panned out, because I thought my family was going to be here all day because we hosted a Christmas Eve brunch this morning, and they were gone in like an hour and a half. And it's really pretty in Kentucky today. It's like 62 degrees, and I went out and walked my little dog and came back in, and I thought, I feel like I should go live. And so, yeah, I did. I had, you know, inspired action, and I jumped on it. Penny, do you have coaches? Do I have like life coaches and stuff? Yes, I do. Yeah. I'm a student at the Chopra Center, which is led by Deepak Chopra. And so that's where all of my life coaches are. Oh, thank you, Spike. And Amy, tell what are you talking about? Will you tell me what you're talking about? I think I missed a comment from you. I'm glad, Carolyn. I'm glad. Good to know, Lisa. I'm very familiar with the Krishna chant. I used that back in the day. And I use a lot of different mantras now that I've learned from Deepak Chopra. They are so powerful. How do you meditate? Well, now I use primordial sound meditation. I used TM, transcendental meditation, for years, but back in February of this year, I learned as I was becoming a primordial sound meditation instructor, and I started using that meditation and have been blown away by it. And so it's a silent mantra meditation, and I meditate in the morning and then again in the evening, anywhere from 10 to 25 minutes each time, depending on how much, you know, time I've got and what's going on. But I meditate twice daily. 99% of the time. It is very rare that I go a day without meditating at all. So that's how I meditate. And meditation does not have to be anything super formal at all. There are a gazillion ways to meditate. It can be as simple as gazing into the flame of a candle for a few minutes every day. And there's so many myths and misconceptions about meditation. You don't have to clear your mind. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody is ever going to completely stop a thought. It's not going to happen. And so a lot of people won't meditate because they feel like they have to do that, and that is absolutely false. Now, with transcendental meditation and primordial sound meditation, you do eventually transcend thought and you reach a higher level of consciousness. And during that gap in time, you don't have any thoughts. But that's with, certain types of meditations. And if you can get to that point, then that's great. But you don't have to. You don't have to ever just force your mind to stop. It's not even possible, and it's all you're going to be is frustrated trying to do that. And so any kind of meditation is good. Are you aware there's no thoughts? No, Violent, you are not. All of a sudden you just come to yourself and you don't know how much time has passed. And it's every meditation is different. And so I don't ever go into the meditation expecting that. I just take each meditation as it comes, and some are better than others. If I go into a meditation and I have a ton of racing thoughts, what that means is I'm releasing a lot of stress. That's what those, and the thoughts mean nothing. Like, you just have to just let it go. Not judge the thoughts or anything like that, because it's just, it's stress being released. And typically, when that happens, usually I experience that more in the evenings, because the evening meditation is when I get rid of all the stuff, that I've picked up throughout the day. If there's a bad person focused on hurting me, how can I manifest them out of the picture? Okay, so I would have to have just a little bit more information before I could answer that question. I mean, you don't have to tell me who it is. I'm just wondering what the circumstances are. You kind of remind me a bit of Judge Judy, but the young version of that, of course. Hey, I take that as a compliment. I think she's a total badass. I mean, that woman has built an empire. She's a freaking genius. Oh my God. I can tell that you practice what you preach. You have the wisdom of someone twice your age. I do walk the walk and talk the talk. I do. And I don't act like that I'm perfect or completely enlightened, or a lot of spiritualists will say they're master manifestors or whatever, but I don't know if there's any mastering this, because this is life, and we really do have to take it day by day. And let's just say I have educated myself a lot, and not had many regrets, because anything unfortunate that's happened, I've learned from it, and then use that in my decision making. And so I've come a long way. I've come a real long way over the years. But I'll be 47 years old tomorrow, and I will say I'm better now than I was 20 years ago, and that's the truth. That is no bullshit. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's someone who is jealous of my life, so they gossip and manipulate in order to hurt my life. Okay. Well, you can't change them. You cannot change them. There's no need in even trying to change anybody. It's really not going to happen. Thank you, DB. So I've dealt with the exact same people, in my lifetime. And this was a tough pill for me to swallow. But I attracted that because I was a really jealous person for a long time. And I'm not saying that you are, but I would examine what maybe what you're doing to have somebody like that around. I mean, I don't know if you're associating with this person, if they're a friend. I don't know close you are to this person, but I would examine my own energy and my own feelings and my own intentions and pinpoint the good stuff and the bad stuff, and any bad stuff that you identify, maybe figure out a way to work on that. And by all means, I mean, if you really feel like someone is feeling that way towards you, then I wouldn't be around that person for sure. Okay, so I am 16 minutes past my timeline, and so I'm going to have to wrap up here in just a bit. Well, thank you. Someone tell me happy birthday. Thank you. Christmas birthdays are not always the best birthdays of the year. It's quite challenging, but you can't compete. I did not receive my manifestation yet, and this Christmas when I planned, any advice how to manage? Well, you're just going to have to stop wondering when and how that manifestation is going to come in, because that is a big blocker. You really do just have to decide what you want and then convince yourself that you've got it. And that can be easier said than done. Meditation can help with that, a daily meditation practice. But the envisioning, oh, thanks, Spike. The envisioning is incredible, because when you envision what you want, and if you can spend, an hour a day just daydreaming, like we did when we were kids, if you can just envision what you want and you conjure up those feelings associated with that manifestation, that's how it's done. I mean, that is how it's done. Don't think about when, don't think about how, period. Just envision what you want and get excited about it and feel grateful for it and speak about it in the present tense. And that's how you get it. That's how you create. That's how you attract. That's how you match your energy to what you want. And that's how you sustain it. That's the ticket. And if you throw meditation in the mix, then you're like shooting off a rocket of desire to the universe. And, any dream starts with an intention. And so you got to set an intention, and then you got to go after it. And when you start envisioning what you want and you feel like you've already got it, you've got those feelings and you're excited and your energy feels lighter and it's lifted, then it's coming. There's no way that you won't get what you want. That's how it's done. So Amber wants me to talk about my manifestation challenges, so I'm going to just briefly go over those, and then I will close out. John, I'm not a psychic. So the manifestation challenges that I have are actually just really self-help extravaganzas. There's two of them. There's a 30-day and a 7-day. And this whole month through December 31st, I'm offering those for $5. And so the links to join are in my link tree, and then you can get more information about those on my website. The 30-day challenge is more for really the beginner, or someone who's possibly just fallen off their path and want to get back on the right track. And then the 7-day is for the more advanced spiritualist, but anybody can take it. It's a bit more advanced than the 30-day, and I would recommend doing the 30-day first if you feel like you're at that beginner level or that intermediate level, because the 7-day gets into some more complex concepts, and it's based on the spiritual laws for success, and so the content is just it's more advanced. But the good thing about both of those is they're not date oriented. You get your daily lessons via email, so you don't have to complete those. Like, you can take your time, and like there's a 3-day stretch in the 30-day challenge that's teaching you how to do like a vision board and some other visionary exercises. And I always recommend that people spend as much time as they need on that, because you can always go back and do the lessons again, and you get lifetime access to everything those challenges have to offer, including a private Facebook group, and that's where our challenge alumni live, and they serve as manifestation buddies and mentors, and you never know who you might meet in there because there's people from all over the world. Now, you don't have to have Facebook to do the challenges, but it's a perk. I mean, when I designed the challenges, I thought back to young, fearful, sad Paula, and the one thing that I really needed was support, and I didn't have that. I had no support, period, and felt very lonely during my spiritual journey for a very long time because nobody understood what I was doing. And I started meditating, and some people even accused me of not believing in God. And I was really shocked by that accusation because everything that I was doing was bringing me closer to God. And it was strengthening my belief in God and my relationship with God. And so I was really shocked by all that, but it was just freaking ignorance. And so I thought back to all of that when I was designing my challenges. And so I thought, I want to put in support systems at every angle. And so that Facebook group, that's what that's for. It is it's a built-in support system. And so there are no haters in that group. And so if you've got a bunch of haters around you and they're criticizing you and making fun of you for trying to be a better person and embarking on a spiritual path, then you've got that group to go to. And you can vent, you can bitch, you can talk about successes, alleged failures, any challenges that you've got. I mean, you can go to that group, and you've got a lot of support there. And the group stays pretty active. People are always posting stuff, and it's a cool place. So also too, back to what I was saying earlier about the envisioning, I created a meditation, and it's free. It's a 15-minute meditation. It's on my website at paulaswope.com, and you'll see a tab. It's meditation, and it's on a tab on the homepage. And you can use that meditation to help you guide your envisioning. And you'll see it might go a little easier with me guiding you through it until you get the hang of doing it on your own. But a lot of people who use that meditation, their manifestations do come in. And they're so, moved by what they see during the meditation that they often cry. I mean, they will, cry during that meditation because the emotions become so strong, and everything feels so real. So Savannah, I see you say, do we have to be religious? So I wish I could spend some time talking about this, but I'm unfortunately gonna have to close out. However, on my profile, you're gonna find 2 or 3 different videos about organized religion and spirituality. And I guarantee that any questions that you've got, I have answered those in those videos, okay? And I want you to watch them, all right? So, that's all I've got for now. I really appreciate you guys staying with me today. I've enjoyed talking so much to you. And so, yeah, I wish I could stay on a little bit longer. I will try to go live again this week, and I'll give you a heads up. You're welcome, Brandy. Thank you for being here. You're welcome, Queen. You too, Savannah. So I'll go live again next week, and I'll give you guys a heads up. But please have a Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and a wonderful holiday. I hope it's fabulous, and I will see all of you all very soon.